Welcome, guys, to another breakthrough play of Dota 2 game between Intrant Vacuo and Ignotus Imperium. II versus IV. I'm Snare from EA Gaming, and I'm joined by Saint D. How you doing, man?
I'm all good, no complaints. Hopefully we have a good game in our midst.
Faceless, do you think that IV were watching the game cast previously between me and IFG? Immediate faceless void ban. They're like, nope.
Nobody wants faceless void, man. The only guys who want faceless void are just the guys who just want mad amounts of action.
Yeah. Very interesting, actually, that you see Lycan being banned out by I. Normally, the Radiant side is the one that leaves Lycan in the pool so they can snap it up. But this time, Dire side banning out the Lycan. And I'm very happy because, tell me why I'm happy, D?
Because Doom is banned.
Yeah! No Doombringer.
Stop hating on the Doombringer, man. The Doombringer is life.
Doombringer so much.
Doom is life. Doom is love.
Doom just ruins Dota. Just ruins Dota.
Doom is love. Doom is life, man. What's wrong with you?
Interestingly, though, from what the Razor being banned out as well. Okay, so very good idea to ban out the Razor. Don't want to have that in the hands of the enemy.
Tidehunter. Yeah, there we go. Yep, there we go.
This is almost textbook. So what's next? Panda? Skywrath? Yeah.
Panda, Skywrath, Shadow Shaman. Dude, this patch is very, I don't know. This patch just favors a very small set of heroes too much. Like the Tidehunter, the Shadow Shaman, the Skywrath Mage, the Faceless Void, your Razor. Those heroes are, and there we go. And there we go. It just favors these heroes way too much.
Okay, so take your bets now, people. Either Skywrath Mage, Death Prophet, or...
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I'm excited. Earthshaker. I think the Earthshaker was taken in a response to the Tidehunter. If you can get lay down a good fissure before the Blink Ravage,
great disengage.
That means that sure, everyone's stunned, but now what do we do? And even after Ravage, if he's on the periphery, I like this pick very much.
It's great for disengage with the Tidehunter, and whenever you see a Tidehunter, you need good disengage, whether it's in a support that's in the Earthshaker, or whether getting another hero, another tempo controlling hero like your Centaur, and there's a Brewmaster. Yep.
There's the Brewmaster. Okay, but to be fair, there is a reason why.
No, there's a very good reason. There's a very good reason. These heroes are just too strong to ignore in this current patch.
And the Tidehunter with Brewmaster together, it's kind of ridiculous because if a good Ravage comes out, catches enough heroes, the primary target will be dead before it can really do anything about it. And even if he survives the initial clap Ravage, then the Cyclone Panda will just Cyclone him up. Then they isolate you at the target, you kill everyone else around him, he comes back down, you can't really do anything. So a very good pick, as cliche as it's a cliche pick, but very good for a reason. And another cliche ban, Death Prophet being taken out.
Yeah, the thing is, most teams when they see Shadow Shaman being picked up by any team, they think, okay, we don't want to give them even more access to push, and Shadow Shaman and Death Prophet work the best in terms of the early game pushes.
Yeah, and it's another thing about why Death Prophet is really strong, why I think that IV decides to ban it. If you're Brewmaster, right, you can't actually, once you use your Primal Split, you can't actually use to the Cyclone Panda to put the Death Prophet in the air because the ghosts keep going even while she's cycloned up.
Yep.
So it kind of forces you to target someone else, but at the same time you can't really ignore the Death Prophet. And the Exorcism actually does a lot of damage to the Brewlings. They can actually kill them quite quickly. Yeah. And they banned the Wraith King.
I think the bigger thing, still on the DP, the silence also. Brewmaster hates silences.
Oh, yeah.
That is atrocious to deal with as a Brewmaster. But yeah, banning the Wraith King. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to ban out any frontline guys, because right now we already got guys who are going to be in. We've already got two guys who's going to be in the front lines. We've got the Tidehunter, the Brewmaster, and if you get a third guy who's going to be in the front line soaking up all the damage, that essentially means it leaves your options very open in terms of the last core or farming core that you could get.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult to actually move into that. Worst yet, actually, if they get another tanky hero, the Shadow Shaman and the Earthshaker, right, they have good burst, they have good disable, whatever. But as the game goes late, if the game goes late, they're gonna come to a point where they won't be doing enough to bring down the heroes of IV quickly. And it looks like they're gearing up for the late game themselves, picking up the Ember Spirit, one of the best mid late game carries you can get in the game right now.
Yeah, man. He just gets out of control. If he gets any momentum, he starts getting his items, his Battle Furies, his Daedalus, then it's hard to deal with him because he's such a slippery hero in the fact that once if he's got remnants out, you have to literally burst him down before you can even think about killing him.
Yeah, you have to burst them down very quickly, and also him and Brewmaster go kind of even in the mid lane.
Yeah. But
another thing is that once the Ember Spirit gets properly online, right, the Brewmaster is gonna really have to watch the positioning of his Brewlings, because one zip with a good Daedalus crit and suddenly one of them might even die right off the bat, especially the Fire Panther. So very good pick. I like the Ember Spirit pick. Also, it synergizes very well with an Earthshaker. If the Earthshaker can actually lay down a good fissure or a good Echo Slam on top of the slide of fist bounce around, it's a lot of confusion, it's a lot of damage, and you can bring down pretty much anybody before things get really heated up.
Very true. I think I'm looking at both, at the last bans that Ignotus, Imperium, and Ivy banned out. You've got the Tinker and the Invoker. I look at the Invoker ban and I'm thinking, these guys, it's a twofold ban. Invoker could when you see Invoker being picked up, he could go Quas Exort, which essentially means more push and the pick off, global pick off, or he could go into the Quas Wakes, which is great for disengage up against heroes like Tidehunter and Brewmaster.
Very good against heroes like that, and the Rubik pick, I like this pick very much, because now Shadow Shaman's actually going to have to be very careful. Before, he could actually be using most of his spells with impunity, but when there's a Rubik in the game, he has to be very careful of how he chooses to commit the mass weapon was. And if Rubik steals Fissure, if you have Fissure on top of Ravage,
oh my goodness,
that is a really potent combination.
Oh, that is, yeah. I don't even think Rubik. I think in terms of heroes, when Rubik interacts with Earthshake, I don't think he really cares that much about getting a fissure, because I mean the Echo Slam, because the fissure is actually that much more important to a Rubik.
The fissure is much more important. Like we said earlier, great disengage, and it also makes it very confusing in a fight if you're like, wait, there was a fissure, but oh wait, oh there we go, Bristleback. This is the answer to.
That's the answer
the
to
initiation.
That's the answer to the Tidehunter. That's the answer to the Brewmaster. If this hero gets out of this hero needs to be kept in check, because if he gets out of control, you're gonna find yourself in a position where you literally can't take him down. And the longer a fight goes, the more damage he's dealing, the more likely that you're gonna lose 3 to 4 heroes, even possibly a 5-man wipe.
Another thing about Bristleback is that it affects how your mentality going into the game, because let's say that IV were planning on an aggressive trial lane, which is not out of the question if you've the rulebook already. Now they actually can't, because if you go aggro try and you leave Bristleback alone versus the Tidehunter, Bristleback will probably beat the Tidehunter, if not at least break even.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Bristleback starts getting out of control, slowly but surely starts building these small leads, these small gains, and then once he gets huge, it's like, okay, now we don't have enough damage to kill him. And Venomancer, is that a support or farming Venom?
Okay, when I mentioned the point with the Tidehunter Brewmaster, guys will get in the front lines and possibly another one. I did mention it would leave them open to go for a less than durable core, so we could have the Venomancer actually playing up in the core role, but playing a Venomancer in the core role when there's a Bristleback is problematic. It's scary, because the thing is, the way Bristleback works is that he's good in the early game, he's good in the mid game, he's good in the late game. So you always have to keep him in check, and I'm not entirely sure Venomancer is the hero to do that.
Venomancer is really powerful in the early to mid game stages of the game, right? And there he could probably bully the Bristleback around a bit. The slow is really good against Bristleback to try to keep him in a place where you can actually bring him down. But as the game goes on and Bristleback starts to build up his items, once he gets maybe even his heart, but probably once he gets his Vanguard, once he picks up that pipe of Insight, then there's not really much. The only way to really reliably kill a bristleback is through burst, and Venomancer is not going to be buying a Dagon, it's not going to be buying an E-Blade, so right now there's not much burst on the side of EV, which means that it's going to struggle a lot to bring down that bristleback.
Interesting bans coming out from both of these guys. Ignotus Imperium clearly thinking that Venomancer is a support since they ban out the Slok, and IV banning out the Viper. Now I look at that lineup and I think to myself, okay, fair enough. I think the Viper would probably work especially well when coupled up with a hero like Bristleback. So I definitely understand that ban as well.
A really good hero right now. I think if Imperium got themselves an OD, that would put them in a very powerful position. They could put the Ember Spirit in the farming lane, put the Bristleback off lane, have the OD mid. OD mid crushes Brewmaster, just flat out, just demolishes that hero.
Pretty much.
So if they do that, that actually might force Ivy to have to do something else. Oh, what, they pick up a Weaver instead.
Radiant team pick.
Wow, that should be interesting. So farming Weaver, off lane Bristleback, and solo mid Ember. Okay, well, to be fair, in terms of the offlaners and the safe lanes, it's still a little bit open because they can decide to put Bristleback in the tri-lane scenario.
Yeah, they could put Bristleback in a farming tri lane and put the Weaver off lane. Do the same with Ember Spirit. They could do this. Pretty much the only thing we know right now is the heroes. The laning choices haven't been that clear as of yet. And now Juggernaut being picked up by. They know that we need something that is easy to disengage, natural.
Okay.
They're probably going to be farming that, rushing that egg.
Yeah. I look at this lineup, these lineups, right? And something screams at me right now from these lineups. Ignotus Imperium, if this game goes late, there's no way that IV deals with this lineup at all. I mean, they have a Bristleback. They have great, yes, they have the Tidehunter. So in terms of team fight, they have a pretty good team fight. But I mean, going into the late game, you're going to be going up against Weaver, who's going to be dealing mad amounts of damage. Ember Spirit, same principle, and then you've got one of the best frontline heroes in the Bristleback. Yeah, it's daunting actually.
Normally, a lot of lineups that have good late game potential, right? Sometimes suffer from very weak laning.
Yeah.
But Imperium right now, their lanes are fantastic.
Yeah, their lanes
very
are pretty
good.
Lanes. Regardless of who they put in the farming position, regardless of who they put in the mid lane, or who they even put in the off lane, as long as the tri lane setup is around Wiener Boy and Commander on the two supports, their lanes are pretty good.
It looks like actually IV going to be running an aggro try. They smoke up. I'm gonna try to find the kill.
Smoking up.
And counter my Tinker, he's alone in the bottom lane. I think an aggro try would probably be a mistake coming out of IV. Not that much kill potential, but they have the Rubik toss back into a Juggernaut spin, but they have Venomous. Yeah, they have these abilities, but then can you guarantee you're gonna get them off when there's an Earthshaker with Fissure just blocking?
Yeah, there's gonna be an Earthshaker for disengage, and disengage is great when you've got a Weaver there because it always means he's gonna be making it out of there.
Yeah, definitely making out. Let's just run through the lineups quickly. On the side of Ignotus Imperium, we're gonna have Bubbles on the solo mid, Ember Spirit. On the off lane, we have Glassnot, ironically, playing the Bristleback. Wiener Boy playing the support Earthshaker, Commando JP playing the Rasta, and Baboon playing the Weaver, farming it up.
And over on IV on the Radiant, we've got 564 playing up the support Rubik, we've got Sky King playing up the Venomancer, we have Lieutenant Bosk playing up the Juggernaut. Over on the mid lane, we've got, wait, what is that? We've got YZYZ playing up the Brewmaster, and over on the solo Tidehunter, we've got Please Don't Counter My Tinker, which is actually Cyclaw.
Yeah. Now, he's going to be going toe-to-toe with Glassnot. Glassnot actually leveling up the Bristleback at level 1. Not something that we tend to see from offlane Bristlebacks. I'm not sure if it's the best idea actually. But in any event, I think he's like, okay, let's play it safe and let nothing happen. Let's make sure that we stay alive.
Oh, Venomous Gale, telekinesis.
Landing onto Commander G. Now they're turning it around. Commander GP actually taking a lot of damage right now. Fissure, where's Wiener Boy? Oh, but they actually get the kill. But a 5-6-4 now, he's in very low health. But boom, he might actually be going for a double kill. Sky King. Sukuchi cooling down. 1 more second. It's cooled down. Is he gonna go for it? Yes, he does. He goes in. A double kill for Baboon. So it's 2 for 0 on the top lane.
2 for 1.
Oh, 2 for 1. Sorry.
Yeah. They did get the first blood.
They got the first blood, but is it worth it to get the first blood and lose both your supports almost immediately?
And lose them both to the Weaver, to the farming guy. It's I'm not entirely sure if that was worth it.
Definitely not where you want to be, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, the only reason that kill, those 2 kills happened was the fissure from Wiener Boy.
Yeah.
Sure, he was a bit late, couldn't save his buddy's life, but
yeah.
Had he been there a second sooner, probably the Shadow Shaman actually probably would have lived, and they would have gotten the 2 kills regardless. And that's the problem with trying to run an aggro try against an Earthshaker.
Yeah,
really
man.
difficult to do.
And the thing is, the great thing about Earthshaker in terms of just the way the hero works with his spells, if you guys split up unfavorably, he could split up your lineup and isolate one of you guys.
Yeah, if you're not positioned almost perfectly, then he's gonna get the jump on you, be able to bring you down. Mid lane looks like Bubbles and YZ, they're chilling. Obviously, Bubbles is winning, probably because of the Flame God build, but in general, not really much we can until level 6. We're not going to be expecting much out of either of these heroes, right?
Yeah.
But YZ looks like he wants to prove me wrong. Is he going to do anything? No, just posturing. What the true surprise of this game is just how badly Closnot's being demolished here in the bottom lane.
I'm actually quite okay. To be fair, the thing is, the way Tidehunter works with his anchor smash now, it's kind of problematic because Glassnost obviously has to be wary about coming in close onto Cyclor.
He has to be very wary. But the main thing though is that he's got 2 levels of Bristleback, no pointer to a Snot, right?
Yeah.
So he's finding it very difficult to actually. And he's using the Quill Spray more to harass than to last hit, so
yeah,
he has to burn through a lot of mana, and he's not accomplishing anything about it. I mean, Cyclone's like, well, I don't really care. I'm Tidehunter. I've got level 1 Kraken Shell. He even went Gush. That's how aggressive he's feeling. Didn't feel the need to level up the Kraken Shell another level.
Yeah, no, he's sitting top of the CS board right now, sitting at 19 for 1. That is insane up against the Bristleback.
Ridiculous amount of farm that he's getting.
We have a smoke rotation coming out from Wiener Boy and Commander JP. Looks like they want to go in. Ooh, YZ's in a world of trouble, and they get off the Fisher.
Chicken, searing chains, shackles, even a slide of fists, and he doesn't even get the rune for his troubles. That sucks. Now that just flat out sucks.
Wow,
that is not what you want to have to your solo mid panda.
And here's the big thing. Looks like we may have another engagement. Commander JP, telekinesis, there it goes. Venomous Scale going out, there goes your Blade Fury from Lieutenant Box. And unfortunately, the Fissure actually makes sure that they get the kill. So that's a kill going the way of Lieutenant Bosk.
Fissure boxed him in there. Make sure he dies. So Lieutenant Boss now actually got a kill. He's got 2 kills for himself, securing some good farm. He's actually sitting on the highest on the net worth right now, 2300, and you should see him probably rushing the Aghanim Scepter. Just bought phase boots now, so we'll see what he decides to buy up. But another thing actually, yeah.
Baboon went for a Medallion of Courage. That is an interesting pickup.
Build is legit. Medallion of Courage, because they're pretty much like he can with Generator attack. That one of the reasons Medallion of Courage is really good on Weaver is that with Generator attack, it's a free attack, right? So it's double the damage. And now if you both have reduced armor and you're Weaver, you're not really going to be locked down in any event. He has Sakuchi, he has time lapse when he hits level 6. So he's like, meh, it's cool. I'll use this to harass you out the lane. And now Lieutenant Boss actually has to be very careful because if he comes close, suddenly he's got half his armor and he can't really do much anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait a second, Clusternot actually had to go back to base. Wow, okay, really putting in the work.
I don't even. I mean, he's sitting at 34 for 7, and the closest to him on the CS board is his teammate over on the solo mid Brewmaster. But he's already had a bit of a rough time because he's fed a kill right now.
He's fed a kill, so he knows that he can be killed. Flame Guard coming off. Searing chains and just doing a bit of damage, harass damage. He's gonna hit. He has level 6 though. He doesn't have mana to use it, but we should see him start to move around the map pretty soon to try and make things happen. And Cyclo is gonna have is gonna be a sub 8-minute blink dagger on the off-lane Tidehunter.
I don't even.
Getting mad money.
On an off-lane Tidehunter up against the Bristleback. Okay, now he's putting in work. Ooh, he's in trouble, but he doesn't have the snot to slow him up.
Yeah, no snot, but even though he's being bullied, he only has 6 last hits, right? We still see the power of that offlane Bristleback. He can still get up, but now
quite
Blink
powerful.
Dagger being picked up. So
That
Cyclo
means-
has a Blink. We're probably gonna see him go top and try to get some kills, set up some kills there.
Yeah, and it's with the lineup they have, they should be able to. I think they might actually want to wait for Lieutenant Boss to get up his Omni Slash.
It looks like that's gonna still be a long time in coming. And now Lieutenant Boss, he's sitting second in the net worth now on the last hit, I think at 30 last hits. But Bruno seems to be struggling to actually get some farm here. I'm not sure why. I think there's no sentry wards out here, so he can actually play this a lot more aggressively. The sentry is way up top, and it's gonna expire very soon, like in 10 seconds. So I'm not entirely sure why he's not playing this a lot more aggressively.
Looks like
here comes Cyclo.
Cyclo wants to get a little bit more aggressive. He's got his Blink Dagger. He's pulling back just to make sure they don't scout him out.
The problem that's going to come in though, Baboon almost has his level 6, right? So once the time lapse is up, it makes the gank a lot more difficult to pull off. But they're going to try it anyway.
Left
onto Commando. Ravage catching on to Venomous Kill. Commando JP almost immediately melted. And
Yes,
so
he
Boom, he's
melted.
still alive. Fissure. Defensive Fissure. Keeping people alive. And actually we have some TP reactions. Who is Bubbles going to try anything? Slide of Fist is ready with Searing Chains. He goes in, Searing Chains onto the Lieutenant Boss. Now they're going for it. They want to try to bring down that pesky little carry. And then a lot of damage going on to him. He's actually taking a lot. We have actually Fissure.
Double kill.
And then now Cyclo, he's also in trouble now. Searing Chains going over onto Cyclo.
No.
Medallion of Courage being popped by Baboon. And then now they're taking around 5-6. So he's running away, trying to get himself out. Gemini attack and a Medallion of Courage being popped.
The
That's a triple
turnaround.
kill.
The turnaround. That's essentially a 4-for-1 going the way of IV. That turnaround.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
The
attack.
turnaround is real. I think IV stuck around a little bit too long.
Yeah, they didn't
After getting
disengage.
the kill.
They really didn't disengage in that point, and at that point they just were. And that's the thing. If you don't disengage against a lineup that has these guys who can get in your face real quickly, set up with the Fissure, then you might be on the back end, and they lost heavily in that fight. Oh, Last Knot maybe falling down. There goes an anchor smash. Last Knot, can he make it out alive? Is there a gush? Unfortunately, it's still cooling down. He might actually go for this. He actually goes in and gets the anchor smash. But there's a TP rotation coming out, so he'll probably lose his life. Cyclo definitely going to take a spill to Bubbles as well. And over on the
Definitely
mid
not worth it.
lane, is there anything? No. Looks like it's just some posturing. But yeah.
Definitely not worth it.
Definitely
Because-
not worth it. Definitely not worth it. Because the problem is Bubbles is getting a little bit out of control now. Bubbles is
Yeah.
getting out of control, and if Bubbles gets out of control, his momentum gets secured a little bit earlier than what IV would want.
He's gonna get online a lot faster than they probably anticipated. We're looking at, if he keeps farming in the exact manner he's been doing now, we're looking at about a 15 to 16 minute battle fury. And
That is
how,
scary.
how,
Is under attack.
how does IV deal with that? The amount of damage and control coming out of that will just be really insane. So they need to do something to stop that from happening. Now, YZ wants to pop the ultimate. Does Lieutenant Boss have his Omni Slash? Yes, he does.
He does have
Bubbles. Bubbles, leave a remnant somewhere, bro.
Where is the remnant?
Where is the remnant indeed? Lieutenant Boss moving forward.
But they want
Look at this, they're actually sticking
they want to
together.
create a choke point here.
Yeah. These two sticking together because they want to bounce the Omnis around. Now Class Knot, he comes
Yeah.
in as well. Ravage is ready. So Cyclo, but his TP is off cooldown for still 35 seconds. So no way he can get to this fight in time. If a fight breaks out at all. And
And the
Baboon
problem-
free farming top.
Yep, Baboon is free farming, And it's not like Bubbles is not getting any farm where he is. I mean, he's supported. He's got 2 supports with him, so he's obviously getting farm priority. He's also still farming up a storm. So in that regard, yes, Glassnot is having a rough game for a bristleback, but Bubbles and Baboon are kind of getting so much farm right now that it's kind of irrelevant that he doesn't have that much farm.
And now, speaking of Bubbles, Bubbles is getting a lot of farm, and right now, oh, actually, Cyclo, he jumped in, didn't proc of Ravage, wanted to do anchor smash first, gets one in the shadow.
Ivy!
And here comes Wienerboy, the fissure, keeping the back, Ravage, catching on 3, and now the panel split committed. And then now Wienerboy, Echo Slam, doing all the work, Omni Slash went out as well, they've already lost Wienerboy, and now they're turning it around, Bubbles doing a lot of damage, Lieutenant Boss starts spinning, doing what he can, Baboon's also come and join the fight, Cyclo's already been brought down, they also bring down the Shadow Shaman, now they're going on to 564, can they get him, do they have any stunts to catch him out? No, they don't, Lieutenant Boss now. He's far away, he's safe. So 2 for 2.
They'll be fine with that. Ivy is not going to be happy with that. I think Ignotus Imperium are going to be very happy with that. They took down 2 cores and only lost 2 supports in the melee. So they'll be very happy with that.
What's interesting though is that they lost the Tyrant, they lost the Panda. So YZ died even though he uses Brewmaster.
Yeah, he got his split off, but he still died. And that's the power of Ember Spirit, man. That's the power of Ember Spirit's Slider Fist.
Slider Fist, the problem. I think actually the main problem that they had is that when Cyclo jumped in and he anchor smashed instead of immediately ravaging, so
yeah,
they had time to reposition. They knew the fight was coming.
Hell, they got off a Hex. They got off a Hex before he got off the Ravage.
Yeah. So they planned it out, and then Wienerboy walked around. Actually, instead of just running, he walked all the way around, put down a fissure to just try to block things off. And on the top lane, actually, might have a fight there. Yep, they actually killed Wienerboy. Earthshaker just died. Look what Rubik stole, though. Look what Rubik stole.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Ooh, he got the fissure, man.
The absolute worst thing that they can imagine happening.
Yeah.
Now, also, YZ, he has a his blink dagger now, so in 34 seconds when the new Primal Spirit schooled up, we're gonna see him use that to great effect.
Yep. Now they have two easy access points of initiation with the blink
Radiant's
ravage, with the
middle
blink
tower
split,
is under attack.
with the blink clap split. Yeah, they have easy access to initiation, and on top of that, they'll be coupled up. Those initiation avenues will be coupled up with an Omni Slash. So in that regard, it's good. It's good for them. But I still worry that they're not doing enough to Ignotus Imperium in terms of aggression, because these guys are getting their farm. I mean, you look at the net worth chart right now, both the Ember Spirit going toe to toe with the Weaver, sitting at 5.3, 5.4,
Radiant's middle tower
and
is under attack.
that's almost 1,000 ahead of Lieutenant Bosk and Cyclo.
That's very strange though, that those two heroes are so highly at the top, but the network chart is pretty much at 0 right now.
Yep.
Oh, the stolen fissure, they use it catching on 3 heroes, and then now the real fissure comes out. Omni
the
Slash,
Echo
there's
Slam.
so much damage. Echo Slam doing the work. They've already actually lost the the Shadow Shaman, and they just lose the Venomas as well. Baboon, he's running forward. But Bubbles is here. Bubbles is cleaning up house. He's on a killing spree right now. He's gonna try to go for more. Do they have enough to catch him out? He's cycled up. We're gonna see the goes back into
Oh
the
no!
just before
This
he
is
pops up,
this is tragic. Can he get the
rock.
kills?
Is he gonna get a kill? Double kill for him. And then now Cyclo also comes in. Are they gonna commit the ravage? No, they don't even feel they need to.
No remnant.
So a
man.
3 for 2. A crazy fight. Stolen fissure setting it all up.
Dire's top tower
Yeah,
is
that
under attack.
was hardcore. I think it was a 3 for 3 actually. I think it was a 3
Oh, the
for
Rubik
3.
died as well. Yeah, about 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Is under
yeah.
attack.
So 3 for 3. Because of the guys who died, I would give that for the most part to IV. I'd give the edge to IV in that one.
The main thing though is that the fact that they managed to kill Bubbles, and the fact that it was Lieutenant Bosk. Or wasn't Lieutenant Bosk, sorry, Tyrant got the kill, but Lieutenant Bosk was directly involved. So he's only like 1,200 gold away from his Aghanim scepter. Very, very good farming for him.
Indeed. And the thing is, they also did take down Baboon as well. Ooh, looks like we just missed the kill mid.
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
Is he gonna go in for? Oh, they got the deny off, which is cool. Denied bottom tower, but Baboon getting another kill. He's gonna have his Lincoln Sphere not too long from now. Already has the perseverance. And now that his medallion of courage kind of bit him in the ass in the last fight.
Yep, that's the thing. It's a high risk, high reward type item because you can get high rewards, but the risk is just as high, man.
Game is dangerous.
Yeah, man.
Another problem.
Game is hazardous.
Hazardous would probably be a better word, yeah. One thing, check out the Rubik. Look at like the net worth of the supports, right?
Yeah.
The Rubik, because of how involved he's been in the fights, sitting now pretty much him and the Earthshakers have the same amount of farm, more or less, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But you always want to have a more farmed Rubik in comparison to a very farmed Earthshaker.
A very
Later
farmed
into the game, it gets
Earthshaker
better.
is scary, to be honest, though, because soon enough you'll have an Earthshaker with a blink tag, and that's a big problem.
Huge problem. Oh, we actually have another engagement coming on. The fissure. Daniel Courage popped on. Ravage catching on 3 actually. Baboon's almost there. Echo Slam coming out. Not going to be enough. Another already brought down Weaver. Baboon's dead as well. And then another going on to the Earthshaker. And then now Rubik using this relatively gets himself out. And then now the Mass Supplement's actually getting a kill onto Cyclo. And then, the slide of fist.
That slide of fist.
Into a 3-for-3.
That slide of fist. Oh my goodness. That is.
Do you think they can kill him?
No. Nah, they couldn't be able to. He might even want to turn back because the Brewlings are running out. He might actually turn onto it. Definitely thinking about it.
Oh.
And he might just be
Great
caught off
play.
in the back. Oh my goodness.
But look who's there on the other side. Glasnot.
That's a dead YZYZ, man. That's a dead YZYZ. Can he make it
not
up?
Yet. No way. Damn Jukes. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do.
What?
The slide of fist misses actually. He's
Oh.
going high. He blinks out. But here comes Wiener Boy. But he's wasted so much time. Even if they kill him now, it's kind of worth it. Just because of how difficult it's been to get this kill. And now actually reinforcements coming in. Here comes Sky King. And now Wiener Boy actually has to turn around. He just died. He dies again. And now here comes Cyclo. Gosh, going on to Glasnot. Weaver coming in. So Bubble still. He already backed himself up. Glasnot, you fucking his clothes, striking himself away. Bubble still trying to chase down YZYZ. But here comes Baboon. And wow.
I cannot believe YZYZ is still alive. I don't even. And Commander JP may just fall. There goes the Hex. There goes the Omni Slash. Definitely a dead Commander JP. Wow. That turnaround from Ivy. That turnaround was amazing. He wasted so much time for these guys. He just juked around, and at the time when once the reinforcements were on the way, they turned it around to 3 kills going in their favor after the initial 3-for-3 engagement.
So technically a 6-for-3 then?
Yeah, technically a 6-for-3. Technically a 6-for-3.
Wow. Okay. That was amazing by YZYZ. I can't believe. And in Imperium, they just couldn't. You can't chase someone for that long and not kill him. So they're kind of in that mental trap. Well, we've committed this much. We can't just let it be for nothing.
Yeah.
And they kept trying, but
they really kept trying. But that's the thing about Brewmaster. Brewmaster, as I mentioned, he kind of is because he kind of is a frontline hero, but not in the conventional sense. He's deceptively tanky, and they couldn't. First things first, they didn't have any lockdown for him, and that already is a problem.
Yeah, no way to lock him down, no way to stop him, and now Flame Guard being stolen by a Rubik. That's going to be funny to see. Look at this army of wards. Now that Bubbles has his Battle Fury though, he's trying to use it to its full effect. Jumping around, trying to just whittle them down slowly but surely. Trying to buy time pretty much for the rest of his team to get into position and to make the fight a lot easier, because they know the Ravage is up. So I don't even think they should try to take this fight at the moment.
Ivy will be happy to take this team fight if they can get off the initiation. And they're definitely going to try and push for sure. Oh, there goes an Omni Slash. Omni Slash being disjointed a little. There goes the Ravage. Remnants out Bubbles, but that's a very dead Commander JP. In the backlines, we've got the Play Fury. Sky King may actually lose his light. There goes an Echo Slam, but he does fall the Earthshaker. Glasnot also in a world of trouble right now, as he was linked out the Poison Nova damage. But yeah, there goes a Cyclone over onto Bubbles. Bubbles may be in trouble as well. Does he have any remnants out? but he does use a sleight of fist. He's definitely in a world of trouble. There goes a Blade Fury. He remnants out. Is it enough to secure his life? It actually is. Ooh, the sleight of fist in the background.
The price for his life was the fact that Baboon lost his.
Yeah.
And they lost the tier 1 tower.
They lost the tier 1 tower. They lost Baboon. They only got 2 supports in exchange. So Ivy will definitely be happy with that exchange.
And that healing ward, keeping Ivy in tip-top shape. They can't even, Imperium can't even come back now for some pickles because they're pretty much at full health.
Pretty much.
And I think they recognize how dangerous Imperium's draft is going into late game, so they want to end it early. They're doing everything they need to secure a massive advantage on Lieutenant Bosk. He's sitting right now 9,400 net worth, easily the highest. He has Aghanim Scepter building into the jobs of endurance, and he wants to fight often to try and push this advantage.
Yeah. Oh, there goes an Omni Slash. That's a very, very dead Commander JP. That's not going out onto Lieutenant Bosk, but it's just trying to dissuade them from going for further kills. And just like that, the thing is, their lineup, Ivy's lineup is actually quite strong in the mid game. It's very, very strong. They have a few avenues of initiation, and Lieutenant Bosk is just building up a very commanding lead right now on his Juggernaut.
Also, so far, this Shadow Shaman's pick has thus far been actually quite underwhelming. We haven't seen him do much. We haven't seen him commit the massive bonus for a tower push. Haven't seen him. There have been some good shackles, right? But it's not the high impact Rasta that you were used to see. Now I haven't seen him. And there's a medallion of courage on the Weaver. So Baboon has it, but they haven't still tried to sneak a Roshan. So they're not getting the most out of that. And each time he just leaves the lane, he pokes his face out. Suddenly Lieutenant Bosk is there. Omni Slash, he's dead.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. It's down to the very early aggressive picks coming out from Ivy, because if you have to try and if you try to commit into a push, you have to contend with the Omni Slash, the Ravage, and even the Blink Clap split coming out from the Brewmaster. So there's not really a real opportunity unless they get a pick off. And then over in the mid lane, we actually might have an engagement. Bubbles is trying to take the tower, Remnant's out because he sees TP support coming in.
He's like, nope, so much nope.
Ivy is certainly recognizing that they need to make sure that they get this game done, and they get it done before a certain point, because obviously then you'll have Bubbles getting himself his Daedalus. I mean, he already has his Battle Fury, so that could be worrying, but they're doing exactly what they need to do. Keep up the aggression, make sure that these guys don't have space to farm.
And Khlasnot, and no matter how well Bubbles is doing, right, Khlasnot is doing very poorly in this game. 4K net worth only, pretty much on the same level as some of their supports. And even Baboon has yet to finish up his Lincoln Sphere 24 minutes into the game, and he still has to buy the full recipe, still 1,000 gold away.
That is quite true.
Very troubling. That looks like they're actually giving Ivy's being smart. Whenever their carries off doing something else, they're giving some space to Sky King, get him some farm, so that he can actually also be a damage dealer in the game.
Indeed.
Bottom lane, are they gonna go for him?
Will they go for him? He does have his
Smart.
Omni Slash. There goes the Omni Slash. Bubbles may be in a world of trouble. Bubbles taking a spill. There goes the Blade Fury. Commander JP may just be next. Telekinesis going out onto the last knot. That's double kill for Lieutenant Bosk. Last knot maybe next as well on the hit list. But he throws out some calls to dissuade them from going further. And you can't even go on a solo Lieutenant Bosk. That is our problem.
Bosk, he took a 3-man gank.
A 3-man gank.
Face and turned it into a double kill for him. Sure, he had help from 564, but that was still fantastic. Now they're gonna get a tier 2 tower.
They're gonna get they're gonna get a tier 2 tower. They've got the healing ward up. Looks like it's still on cooldown, but even nonetheless, they've also got the plague ward. So this tower is definitely going down.
And Cyclo is on the periphery. He's waiting. There's Blink Ravage available.
Oh,
forward.
Commander JP just.
Oh, don't die. If he dies again, he just came back to life.
Commander JP is having the worst game right now. Commander JP is just having, and they lost the courier. The Radiant actually lost the courier.
Okay, Radiant courier. If it was Dire courier, I was gonna say everything has been going wrong.
Yeah, they would have been Murphy right now. They would have been Murphy. Like, no. But
Look at the KDs, right? Commander JP, 3 for 11
oh
in
my
this game.
goodness,
That is not where you want to be. Almost
Not
half the kills that Ivy has have all
is
been
on him.
from
Yep.
him.
Yep. It's
Not having
it's
a
a
good
tragic
game at
game.
all.
It's a tragic story for him. But even more tragic, you look at the kill score coming out from Glasnot. He's sitting at 0 for 2 as well. And this is the guy who's supposed to be your front line, but he's not even close to the level of being a front line, and he's he's almost close to getting his mech. And this is a 26 mech coming out from your bristleback. That is not the most ideal timing for a mech.
Dire's middle tower.
And look how unscared Ivy are.
Oh,
They're pushing
Commander
Titan
JP.
towers. JP.
Come on, JP.
Please,
Please. We've got a fissure going out, catching all of them. There goes an Echo Slam. There goes a Slider Fist, catching 2. That's a double kill already for Bubbles. There goes a Ravage, catching 3. There goes your Omni Slash. Wiener Boy is a definitely dead customer. And in the meantime, Baboon may just lose his life as well. There goes the Slider Fist. Cyclo in a world of trouble. Cyclo actually takes a spill. Could they get the kill on YZ? It's possible that they might get the kill. There goes the clap. YZ in a world of trouble as he gets an ultra kill going the way of Bubbles, and that's a great turnaround. Blade Fury TP out, and he'll make it out alive. So that's a great fight going Imperium's way.
Dire's top tower.
And
The huge
And for
fight
once-
and Bubbles.
And for once, Commander JP's death was not in vain. Because it was more like a bait. It forced them to go out of position, and it set up so much it set up so much in terms of what Reno Boy could get out, because he got out a core, he got out the fissure and the Echo Slam, and that set up a lot for Bubbles, because Bubbles got an ultra kill on the back of that engagement.
An ultra kill for the Ember Spirit now. Who can... Oh, we see Mass Serpent was being committed. 5-6-4, force forward the first. I'm not sure that's the best idea. Bubbles turning out on Mike want to do something. Lieutenant Boss actually taking a lot of damage from the side of his. He actually has to back off. Poison Nova being propped up by Sky King. He just brought down a Daniel of Courage. Cyclo, he just saw, but there's no Ravage available. Omni Slash going on to Commander JP.
Commander JP. I think that's
guy.
his job right now. I think that's his
guy.
job. He's the sacrificial lamb. Like they know all he needs is to put up wards, and the wards were committed, but they didn't get anything from that. I think oh gosh, going out onto Wiener Boy may be in a world of trouble. He commits the fissure, may just make it out alive. I think the bigger thing for Imperium is that they need to accurately gauge how strong their lineup is right now. It's still not strong enough to translate a team fight win into a tower push, because once they try to push, obviously then some of the key spells are still down, and that is a great thing for Ivy, because then Ivy could turn around and get some kills off of that.
And they need to avoid that. Right now, they won that fight,
Yeah.
the previous fight, and they need to be happy with that and say, okay, right now all we need to do is get more farm onto Bubbles. And it looks like he's actually going for his his
Daedalus.
Daedalus immediately off the bat. He's actually already got it. It's coming out on him. They say, okay, let's get more farm on this guy. Let's make sure that when the fights happen, let's pretty much try and force the game to go in that exactly how it did before. And now there's a full mech on the bristleback, and he's building into his pipe of insight as well. Bubbles as well, also getting up bit dangerous. Still on 1300 gold. You should see him building up that Desolator as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Once that happens, the negative armor with that and the medallion is too damn high.
It's looking scary now. Imperium's getting up the key items that they need to get up for possibly taking an advantage, because the slider fists that are going to be coming out from Bubbles are going to deal so much damage now that he has his Daedalus on top of the Battle Fury. And then you look at Bubbles Baboon has his Lincoln Sphere now, so he's obviously going to be trying to get a damage item, and you look at Bubbles is getting some territory down as well.
I think what we're talking about in the draft is that Ivy has to try and force the game early, and we saw that now. They had a tremendous advantage leading up into
A
the fight,
very big lead.
but a couple of lucky crit sleight of fist from Bubbles decimated the team, and that's the problem going up against this lineup. It's like, what do you do? Because while he's sleight of fist, it's not like you can counter attack.
Yeah.
It's not like you can stop him. You're just taking this damage to the face, and if you don't kill him first, if you don't bring him down, what can you do? And even Baboon, he might not be putting out the most damage, but it's such a distraction having the Weaver there. You never know really exactly where he is. You always have to think about where he is. You have to keep track of them, and if you're not careful, he comes back with medallion of courage, kills your hero. So this game is getting to the point where I think if Ivy doesn't win,
is in trouble. There goes the telekinesis gush, the anchor smash, and that's gonna be a very dead. He commits the echo slam, but to no avail.
I don't know why he did that.
He didn't need to do that. Ooh,
Picked up by
Shiva's guard
Cyclo.
coming up. The item progression coming out from both teams is actually quite decent now. I would say it's even in terms of the items that they're getting, but if it's even, it's still kind of favoring Imperium in that regard because they're getting what they need to delay the game.
Yeah, Lieutenant Bosk actually his butterfly on the courier. He commits the Omni Slash going on to Cluster, making me commit. Oh, actually goes the wrong way, back onto the creeps. And then now they might want to re-engage on this. YYZ jumps forward, Primal Split, and now Ravage at the ready. Blink Ravage catches literally everybody. They're looking at Bubbles. Wanna try to bring him down. Gets cycloned up by the creep. But Boone, he's still alive. Cluster's already taken as well. Tier 2 tower falls now, and then now the Slide of Fist.
Oh, that Slide of Fist!
The Rubik and the Venom ones are almost dead. Then now they do manage to kill the Fissure. Conrad immediately buys back, and then now the spin going on to the room. They've managed to bring it down. So far, it's 4 heroes dead. The only one still alive is Wiener Boy, but he died in the previous. Technically, the 5 of the dead. And then now Ember Spirit Bubbles. He's looking like he wants to try to do something. Omni Slash on Puna for 30 seconds. He's hoping for that lucky crit. He's wishing for it, and he has to try and make something happen. Shiva's got being procced off, and they actually want to commit on him. He remnants out of the way. Now Lieutenant Boss chasing him. He's going to try to do anything. No damage going on to the tier 3 tower, but now they just want to back off, but Bubbles isn't letting them.
Wow. So that is a very commanding fight for IV. Very commanding, and they even forced a buyback coming out from Bubbles. So they essentially lost 4, and the buyback came out from Bubbles. And now they might even get themselves the Roche. So that's another problem. And I think it all boils down to these guys trying to close out the game early. They need to close out the game early.
And the main problem, the reason why I think Imperium lost that fight, even though they're doing out so much damage, is that because Wiener Boy died in the mid lane, he wasn't available to put in fissures, wasn't available for Chain Frost, for
telekinesis going out.
So he had. Are they actually going to get the kill on Bubbles right now? They're blinking forward to some guts to cool down. If he dies right now, this will be terrible. He's remnanting away, doing what he can. The fissure's there, but it's just too late. Twice now, Wiener Boy's been late on those defensive fissures. Now Commander JP.
Yeah.
How they boss.
It's just the story of this game for Commander JP, man. He just can't catch a break. And now we've got a blink on Sky King. The items for great aggression, they just keep coming for Ivy, and now they've got the tools they need to try and close out this game, to try and get at least a lane of racks and secure an avenue into trying to close out the game.
Now I think they're gonna try to push high ground now. They know that Bubbles is dead for another minute. He can't buy back anymore, and he's let's be honest, the only one on the side of Imperium that they can do any significant damage. So they're just gonna go all in on this. They have all their ultimates cooled down already. So they're not. Yeah, they're going in. Oh, they're not backing off.
Yeah, they're waiting for the
push high ground now. Manta style as well.
Ooh, that is definitely a sign of the end. That is definitely a signal for this game coming to a close end.
Here we go.
That Fissure, man.
Blocking off Lieutenant Bosk on the other side, but there's a blink Ravage catching anybody, poison over as well, and then everybody brought down to now.
Game is almost done.
But Boone is the only one alive.
Game is almost done, man. They're gonna get a set of racks. Are there any buybacks? There aren't any buybacks actually over on these guys. So yeah, no, they're definitely gonna take this down. Just hear the amount of sword swiping they're coming out from Lieutenant Bosk, man.
He's putting in that work, and now they're gonna get full lane of racks. They might even try to go straight for the jugular.
Yeah, they could try. I would dissuade that since Bubbles is back, and Bubbles is still problematic in the amount of damage he can deal.
Now they actually want to try to go back. Lieutenant Bosk
dealing so much damage.
A lot of damage from the Medallion of Courage. Here comes JP. JP, come on, no, don't do it, man.
Don't do it. Don't do it, man.
The story ends.
We've been there. We've seen it. We've seen it way too many times, man. It's traumatic right now.
Just relax. Take it easy. And now they back off, so they don't get more, but they're just moving top. They're gonna try and get that tier 2 tower.
Yeah, they're gonna try and push the lane, and once their spells are off of cooldown, once again, rinse and repeat, and they'll be once they get the second lane of Rax, I think they're at the point where they'll be closing out the game actually.
If they do successfully get a second lane Rax, we'll probably see Ivy just straight up calling their GG.
Yeah.
2.7k gold right now on Lieutenant Boss. Let's see what he wants to buy up next. A lot of Juggernauts at this point in the game buy their Battle Fury. Or maybe you will see him buy something like a Desert or maybe even an AC. I think AC would be a really great option for them right now.
AC would be amazing. Okay, Lieutenant Bosk has the butterfly, right? So essentially now that essentially means Weaver has to immediately commit into trying getting an MKB.
Yeah. You can see he thinks the same thing. He's just picked up that Demon Edge. Now, yeah, he doesn't have space to farm though because he has to go top to try and defend.
Exactly.
Does anybody on the side of I have buyback? No buybacks. But ironically, IV, the attacking team has full buybacks on every single hero. Klasnod, he's on very low health.
Oh, Wiener Boy!
Wiener Boy is pretty much dead already. And then Echo Slam as well. The massive notes go down, but boom, doing what he can. Sky King on the very low health. And then Shiva's got being popped off by Cyclo. 5 seconds until we have Ravage. Klasnod still somehow alive. Here comes Bubbles. Here comes the damage dealer. Let's see if he can get a couple of lucky crits. A lot of damage going out. That's not enough.
Where's the Ravage?
Boulder toss. No, actually.
No need for Ravage.
Bubbles there. Who needs Ravage, man? They bring him down, and then now they're
no Commander JP. 5-man wipe. Game is hard. GG. This game is over. GG. This game is done and dusted. Well played, IV. This boiled down to the fact that, as you mentioned in the drafting phases, a lot of lineups that favor late game kind of are weak in the mid game stages, as opposed to lineups like what IV had, that in the mid game they are essentially powerhouses. I mean, Juggernaut gets online very quickly. Same thing for the other cores, the Panda, and the Tidehunter. And then on top of that, they had a support who dealt so much damage in the Venomancer. Once he got off his Poison Nova, a lot of the supports coming out from Imperium were also having a key problems in trying to stay alive. And the big storyline for the game is there's two storylines. One being Klasnod just being outclassed in his lane, and then the second being Commander JP just had the worst game. 317 for 2. Good lord.
17 deaths that were given away on him, and Klasnod had 0 kills. How often do you see a Bristleback who ends the game with 0 kills and only a mech and a Put of Defiance to his name? Klasnod was beaten in his lane completely. Nothing you could do about it. And when he tried to rotate around, didn't get the farm. Bristleback, not a hero that you play from behind, and he couldn't get into that major powerhouse we're used to seeing. The Shadow Shaman pickup, like I said, Commando JP couldn't get anything out of it. No tower, didn't push as fast as you'd like to see, and also Lieutenant Boss got scarily big, scarily quickly. And once they got to that point, I mean, Bubbles, let's be honest, right? I think the MVP of this game is Bubbles, because if he wasn't in the game, I think this game might have been over even 10 minutes ago.
Much quicker. It would have been over much quicker. But on the flip side, Lieutenant Bosk, man, he put in so much work on his Juggernaut. I would even argue he's a huge contender for the MVP spot, because he just put in so much work. Whenever the Omni Slash was up and ready, he would always go for the shot. I think he was more of a why not player instead of the why player.
He's like, man, YOLO.
Why not? And look at him. I mean, he's got 18 kills, 1 death, 13 assists, and the amount of farm that he secured. I mean, he was sitting at 669 GPM. So he was putting in mad work on the Juggernaut.
And they pushed their advantage. They won the game. In the event, good luck to well played from both teams, and good luck to both of them in their further DGL games. I'm Snare from EA Gaming. Follow us on Twitter at EA Gaming. Also on the Facebooks at EA Gaming as well. And we have a YouTube page at EA Gaming. And the match videos and the match VODs will all be up very soon. And I'm Snare. This is AD. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys.